It was springtime in 1991. I'm in my parents' backyard, and I'm staring down my toughest adversary yet. He was right-handed, 3 feet tall, and for some reason, I couldn't seem to throw a pitch past him. Yeah, it was a good one. I looked in, and he smacked his bat on the plate. In response, so I reared back, and I threw the ball as hard as my 8-year-old arm could, and crack! Over the wire. That's good for a homer. So Michael rounds the bases in his little home run trap, and I do what you're supposed to do next. I threw the pitch at his head. So Michael hits the dirt. I lie and shout, "That wasn't even close to you." Now as he gets back up, instead of standing in like a righty, he stands up like a lefty. Now, maybe it's just because he was 4, almost 5 years old, and he's gotten mixed up about which way to stand. But I'll tell you what's happening. He's taunting me. So I spit. He smacks his bat on the plate like a lefty. And then crack! Over the treehouse. Also good for a home run. He was like a young Mickey Mantle. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. So you fast forward a couple of years, and my little brother, he's about to start at Jamaica Avenue Elementary School in Plainview, New York. It's a school I'd already been attending for a few years, and I knew he had a tough road ahead of him. So I sat him down, and I gave him all of my best advice. I said, "Mike, doesn't matter how hard you work in that place. Doesn't matter how smart you are. For some reason, all the teachers have some kind of attitude problem or something. I don't know. Good luck, man, you're gonna need it." So a few years go by, and for some reason that I can't fathom, all those teachers with the attitude problems, they didn't seem to have them when Michael was around. Michael even liked some of them. On report card days, I trudge home. Michael, he'd skip along, happy as could be. Ooh, everything works out for Michael. Now, it didn't matter what sport I tried playing. No matter what, the umpires or the referees, they always seemed to be rooting for the other team or something. When I pitched, everything was a ball. When it was hockey, it was a slashing penalty or a high sticking penalty. Apparently in soccer, there's some sort of dumb rule where you can't pick up the ball. But when Michael did these things, the umpires were rooting for him. If he was out there pitching, it was all, "Strike 3!" If he was playing hockey, it seemed like opposing goalies were trying to let the puck in. He played travel soccer. Never once did he try to pick up the ball. And I got dragged to all the games. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. So we hit our teenage years, and as an 11th grader, I achieved the long-standing goal of mine to become the shortstop on the varsity baseball team. Thank you. A well-deserved goal. So a year later, as a senior, I'm demoted to third baseman to make room for, you guessed it, my little brother. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. After high school, I had a string of bands and businesses, and at some point, me and some buddies, Joe, we put together some money, and we tried our hand at screen printing logos on t-shirts. It was during this time Michael decided he'd start up a company selling t-shirts on the internet, and he'd have us print them. While my business has long since folded and my band stopped touring, 10 years later, Michael's internet t-shirt company, albeit changed some, is still running along smoothly. And I'm proud to say I've helped him run it for 6 years now. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. A few years after I joined on at the company, we're sitting there eating some chicken parm sandwiches from Boccaccini's, the deli near our office. Michael announces he's going to Israel for about a week. So now, I've heard from everyone that's been to Israel that it's a beautiful country with different terrains, climates, and a vast history. But I hear on the news that it's a war-ravaged country, maybe not the safest place in the world to visit. But the trip was free, so Michael's mind was made up. Of course, like always with Mike, I had nothing to worry about. He doesn't just come back from his trip alive and well. No. That's what would happen to most normal people that went away. Michael meets a beautiful girl on his trip. Now this girl, she's originally from a faraway land that I believe is called New Hampshire. Oh, you guys have heard of it. Good. But she's since moved to New York City, which is only about 45 minutes from us, and that's nothing. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. So I'd known Jess for a few months when I first realized how great Jess and Michael were for each other. You see, Michael and I, we used to rent a house. It had an upstairs living room, which is where I was, and it had a downstairs living room, and they shared a common wall, and that's where Jess and Michael were. So, yeah, shush. So I'm there, I'm banging away on my guitar, while my wonderful wife, Jessie, hey. All right. Oh, yeah. There you are. Yeah, get this on camera. My wonderful wife, she's cooking up some tacos in the kitchen, and I hear Jess laughing. She's laughing really, really hard. Then a few moments later, it happens again, and it continues on this way all throughout the night. So at first, I assumed Friends must be on the TV. I know Jess is a big fan, and that Chandler must have said something witty. However, as the night goes on, I have to assume it's got to be some sort of marathon or something, because the laughing keeps happening. Well, a week or so later, Jess is back over the house, and the same thing happens again. This time, I'm in the kitchen, I'm pretending to help with the tacos, and Jess comes upstairs. So I ask about the marathon. She lets me know there is no marathon. They're just sitting there and talking. Well, I think a moment. I ask, maybe they're talking to somebody on the phone. No. Oh, it's gotta be my younger sister, Katie. She's real funny. Probably talking to her on Skype. Nope, not. Just Jess and Michael. After a few moments of me staring and scratching my head, Jess goes back downstairs. And a few hours later, after I put some real thought into the issue, I come to the only possible conclusion. Jess finds Michael funny. Michael, my brother, funny. Whew. Now, you've heard me tell some stories of Michael's athletic expertise, his mental prowess in the school and the workplace. He's a good-looking kid. He's a Rakowski after all, of course. The one item I've skipped over, though, is Michael's comedic skills. Now, if you ask my mother, she'll tell you, he's a beautiful boy with a lovely singing voice, and he's very, very funny. But if you ask me, sure, he may be humorous. He may even make you chuckle every once in a while. But funny? I don't see it. However, here we are a few years later, and when Michael's around Jess, you'd think he's Jerry Seinfeld the way she laughs. His problem was that I was always the wrong audience. Yeah, everything always works out for Michael. In all seriousness, Michael and I are best friends, and I love him. We've been best friends our entire lives. Ma, Pop, you've done really, really good with this one. Yeah. You fixed all the problems. He's been my double play partner, my bunk bed partner, my workout partner. Ready, Mike? My Lego partner, my bike riding partner, my partner in crime. We discovered so much of this world together, and we continue to move forward together. But today, that same little boy that hit all my best pitches all over the backyard has a new partner. While I'll still work with him, I'll play sports with him and music. Michael, there's a new Mrs. Rakowski that deserves that attention and unwavering love that you've always given to me. I look forward to what the future holds for Michael and Jess, but I have no doubts it'll work out just fine, because everything works out for Michael. Hey, Jess, welcome to your family. Thanks a lot, guys.